Are you recording? Yeah.
That. All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to get started. All right, Zoom people, can you see our screen okay? Somebody,
Yes.
thank you. All right, let's kick things off. A lot of stuff to go over. First and foremost, thank you guys for being here. I love the fact that we're outpacing the Zoom people. Being in person is important. This right here is other offices, right? The cells, they don't like get together very much. They're not very active. But this is Kent North, right? We got a lot of energy. We're active and a lot of people are coming in more often. And I want to keep encouraging you guys to do that. It was pretty funny yesterday. Tony had a lead and Amy did an announcement over the PA, just literally yeah, attention brokers, if anyone would like to write up a buyer, come to the Sky Lounge and see Tony.
Oh my
And people
God.
kind of stood around and they're like, what?
Nobody was running?
But no,
Yeah,
but Justin did.
that-
Justin ran in here
Oh.
and sure
I
enough,
sprinted like my life depended on it.
he did. And he got the clients.
And he tripped somebody on the way.
He might have.
To beat him.
But the point
I
is,
don't know anything about that.
opportunities happen if you're here. That's just how it works. We do get some floor calls, but really it's you guys. You guys talk to each other, you talk about your upcoming listings, your wants, your needs and networking, and it's really important. And the more often that you can do that, the stronger we will be. So please just remember that. All right. With that, we have some welcome to Kent North team. We have some new team members. Yeah, Jeremy, Brian, Jared, and John. Welcome, you guys. Very glad you're here. Amy, Gavin, Gracie, and Matthew also. And then Bob and Mac also joined us. So we're very, very happy you guys joined the team. The market has definitely picked up, has it not? Raise your hand if you have had multiple offers on your listings or you're dealing with multiple offers right now with your buyers. Yeah, probably half the room. So inventory, we're gonna go over the numbers and everything over King and Pierce County, but they definitely it's shrunk. I mean, again, it's and you know when something's priced good and it's dialed in, it's market ready day one, it's got professional photography, it's staged, clean, decluttered, ready to go. It is getting the most action. And I heard 49 groups through at one open house. Laura, was that yours, Laura? 49 groups through 27 offers. It's the highest I've heard so far. Has anyone heard higher than that yet?
Janet had 17.
Janet had 17 offers. So it's right now 28 still, or 28 or 29.
Where these houses at?
And what was
700,000 for the one.
Where was that?
Kent. And
Janet had
17.
17, Janet Gibbs, and she had 17 Burien, and she got $100,000 over asking.
100 over. Laura, you had, you took the early offer because it was just too good to be true.
She took 100 over also.
Yeah, I wrote an offer for Almaz and there were 6 offers and we got it 100,000 over.
100,000 over asking. So it's starting to happen again. Clients they're kind of over the shock and awe, just like Saul says about the rates, the way things change, right? It's kind of like, okay, people are like, they're already over that. People have been talking about game plans, about buying the rates down, the 2-1 buy downs, 3-1 buy downs. Also having adjustments for the seller to help, with closing costs, inspections again on some. But the market has definitely shifted and changed, but please, in your handouts, there's the 32 strategies to win more often in multiple offer battles. I probably had about 3 or 4 phone calls just last week on people asking about escalations, this is like messing me up. Like, how does this work again? You really have to keep up on your knowledge base. And we're going to talk about some of that kind of stuff here in a little bit, but you need to really stay in tune to the forms, right? it's more important than ever. It's gonna make all the difference in whether or not you even win in an offer. We had a couple people, well, Amanda, you won yesterday. You didn't even think you were gonna win. And some of the things that helped out, were some of these exact same strategies.
Get the agent on the phone.
Yeah.
Make a friend.
Yep. So please, review that. Contest, Kent North March Madness. We're doing another, spring market action bingo. In your handouts is the first page. Where's Mr. Alec? Oh, there he is at the back of the room. So Alec won our last month's contest, so he gets lunch with me and Tony.
That's a prize.
That is a prize. We're taking him to Asaderos.
Now that I know I won't play.
But we're taking them to Asaderos next week, so free up your schedule. All right, so next, this month, there's quite a few things in here. The rules are, there can only be one bingo winner each week. We haven't had a single person turn in one yet, is that correct? Amy? Kayla?
For dinner. We have to have a minimum of 10 entries sent in.
Yeah.
Alec can't win every month.
Hey, wait, go participate.
Well, now
So maybe next month we'll do a send.
there you go.
I think we should do, I think we should
Top
do
golf,
on Saturday.
top golf, let's do that.
3-hour wait on
We
Saturday.
need a minimum 9 entries.
That's fine.
This one's much harder.
First person to submit a blackout card will win the prize of the month. Submit a complete bingo cards to Kayla, so either by email or turn it in person. So all of those are in your handouts. The cool thing about this is like, you can have fun, but realistically, look at those items. Those are some really good things to be doing in this market to get business. If you're not getting business right now, you're like, I don't really know what to do. Use that, try to do it. There's a whole bunch of easy ones, some layups, but some of these are hard on purpose. There's make 10 calls each week, attend sales meeting in person. You guys all in the room can mark that one out.
Yes.
So there's some ones in there, that are doable,
Yeah, we
definitely.
structured this thing to be more activity based,
Mhm.
okay, because that's kind of what it's all about. All right, so it's, for some people, it's a real challenge, some people, they're already doing it, but it's. Your identity is the source of your behavior, right? So let me ask you a question, when you're not doing these things, how are you identifying yourself? How are you identifying yourself if we're not doing these types of activities? So real estate is a daily activity, it's a daily focus, it's, a collaborative environment, there's all the help and all the support. There's really no reason anybody shouldn't be able to score a bingo on this card. I know.
There you go.
Where green on private, where?
Yeah.
So, let's get everybody participating and getting into action. That's-
Seriously, yeah, you don't know what to do, use it. Did you guys see the email that came out? Our very own Miss Abby Romero won. Her client won the Win-A-Trip. If you guys are not using this Win-A-Trip thing, it is so easy. So Win-A-Trip is the John L. Scott, 3 times a year, they do a free drawing. And you guys can use those, print out the handout sheets from your MyDesk, print those out, have them at your open houses, you can do them at events. And that's what Abby did. She used it at a few events. She had like 56 people fill them out. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And you've already closed deals from that event
Yep.
and referrals already.
Yes.
And the client wasn't even sure if he was gonna use you, huh? Was that correct?
Yeah, the client even said, I wasn't sure if you guys were really legit, because I had heard horrible things about agents. But now that I see that you guys are for real, I want to buy a house from you. Okay,
Yeah. So the client won. Yvonne, you had a client that was drawn like a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And here they gave fake info.
Yeah.
Here they won a $4,000 trip and had fake information so they could get it to the person that had the drawing. So these are really easy to use. And it asks, easy questions on, if you're working with an agent, I think, and, are you looking to buy or sell and the time frame? And they're just easy. It's
You can
really
send this to your-
simple.
You can send this to your relationship database as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be an event. You can just let me send you to Hawaii this year.
I did that too.
Yvonne's done those with the videos. Those were amazing.
You're
Actually, we are doing it again with her winner. We're not saying it's our winner. We
Yeah.
said The John L. Scott winner. And
There was the winner. Yeah.
That, if anybody that has Spanish speaking clients, I did, with the help of the approval of John L. Scott Bellevue,
Yeah.
I did translate the lead sheet for him.
Oh,
So I
sweet.
have it in digital format and I have quite a few in print. If anybody's interested.
That's great. Yeah, such an easy way. I was gonna try to show a little bit of the video that Abby had of it, but it kind of crashed her PowerPoint, so I was like, I had to take it out. But she really used it to the max. I mean, she took a video of the, handing the big check over to the client. And I mean, he was so happy and surprised. She was on the radio for it. It was really, really cool. So great job.
Thank you.
The truth about this market. So there are 7 reasons brokers are failing in this new market and how to avoid their mistakes. And these are so true. The current real estate market separates the best from the rest. Here's how to avoid the biggest mistakes agents are making right now. And these times, double down on your skills, on your knowledge, on you. Remember Tom Ferry talking about this last year? He said, he goes, the one thing that's going to make a difference, like coming in the next few years, is that one thing. And I keep seeing it over and over and over again. With fewer transactions than previous years and a record number of agents, there are bound to be agents who don't survive this market change. But the chaos in the market does create opportunities for the astute agent willing to do the things others won't do. The following are the reasons agents are failing and how you can thrive while others are struggling to survive. So the very, very first one is they are afraid of the phone. This is the number one. They're afraid of the phone. Number one reason agents fail is due to the lack of real estate related conversations. Much of their fear is due to the lack of confidence in what to say. I heard people talking earlier last week about like when they're meeting with a seller, it's been so long, like, oh no, like, I'm gotta get things prepared. It's like, why? Okay, like we have a guide. It is like literally use the guide. It's there for you. The relocation in John L. Scott win ratios ever since they implemented the guides went from 46 to 48% range to 88 to 90% win rate because they used a guide. Guys, you don't have to recreate the whole wheel. Just learn how to drive with it. And I know you guys, we've been like going over this stuff. Amy has those. We have more that came in, right? So if you need to get some or to order it through Bear Printing, we have the selling our home guides, buying your home guide. But educate yourself on the trends in local market. It's more important now. Find scripts for calling expireds, for sale by owners. I know some of you have been hitting those and actually getting some appointments. Call the neighbors of a home that just sold. Even if you didn't have a listing in the neighborhood, there's a couple of coaches who've been implementing this with their all of their students and giving them this plan to basically, a listing went, pending in the neighborhood. They basically do mailers right around that house because a lot of the agents are not doing marketing like that. So take advantage of it. The average is that 50 real estate related conversations lead to one transaction. So that's the average. And then how long has it been since you've had 50 of these conversations? The success you desire is waiting right on the other side.
So yesterday, Josh Hall was doing calls.
Mhm.
You go to make it.
He's making calls right now.
Doing one call to his relational database. He made 50 attempts, he talked to 29 people, which is pretty darn good. He got a lead for September. And then he told me this morning, he was calling, his goal was 50 again today, and he got a buyer lead this morning, so he just worked the phone.
Yeah, there's so many things to do, but this is the second thing. They thought it was going to be easy, right? The past 2 years markets were like make-believe. I mean, it was like monopoly money. It just wasn't real. We gotta get back to working hard. Third thing, they lack discipline with their schedule. This one's so huge. A lot of people get into this business, they're like, oh, we have freedom. I don't have to go in today. Realistically, you should be prospecting every single day. The whole name of the game is conversations and appointments. Conversations and appointments. That should be every single thing you're trying to do every single day. Skill sharpening, again, time block for both of those things. And if you don't have scripts that you know, we have plenty of those. There's tons of them. Fourth thing, they feel entitled. The sense of entitlement in real estate and society is at an all-time high. Many agents are shocked when their neighbor or past client lists with another agent due to believing they were somehow entitled to the business versus the professional agent looking for opportunities to earn the business. I know some of you who definitely felt like this. I felt like it too sometimes, like, but if I'm not actively engaging with the clients and keeping that relationship going, it's no shock they forget your name in 6 months after you sell a house. Number 5, they think they can do it part-time. The business is not a hobby. Agents that are failing now treat it as a side gig or part-time job instead of the level of professionalism buyers and sellers deserve. Part-time agents may have been able to scratch out a few transactions in the last few years, but that level of commitment will not work in the current market environment. And we have definitely seen that. We have released, what, 6 people now, Amy? I believe. We've released 6 or 7, 8? So just people who are they're not active, they're not trying. And that is definitely not what we do here. You guys deserve better. We deserve better. Our time is worth a lot. And so it's important to make sure we uphold those standards. Number 6, they are too passive. People who wait for the business to come to them will be washed out of the business quickly in the current market environment. Real estate is a contact sport. The more contacts you make and the more value you add, the more business you will do. So rather than sitting in the office and waiting for the phone to ring, what are some activities you can take to overcome persistence? Get out of the office and your comfort zone by going where the people are. Post open houses. You guys keep hearing about the traffic counts, how high they are, right? Join a leads group like BNI, volunteer at your kid's school, join a local service organization, or become active in a charity you believe in. So no matter what it is for you, get involved in your community and around people. The more active you are, the more opportunities you will find for business. I mean, that is just flat out truth. And number 7, they keep looking for the easy button. There is no easy button. I have an easy button in my office. I've had it for years. There's no batteries in it on purpose. You hit that thing and it does nothing, because nothing is easy. It takes hard work. All right, time for a market update. We are in the spring market, right? We're just on the cusp of, getting into the April time, and we're gonna start seeing more and more listings, slightly increase. But if you have been keeping an eye on the 24-hour market watch, you guys look at that every time you log in the MLS, what's happening right now?
Endings are outpacing the new ones
By how much,
a lot.
It's like 3, on average, it's been 3 to 1 pendings to actives, week after week, week after week. So the absorption is taking place big time. All right, so let's look directly at King and Pierce County. Here are the current key box activity statistics compared to this year over last year, and the current week comparison from this year to last year. It's definitely still pretty active. I mean, this is a brand new report, so once we get more data in it, it'll be easier to kind of like see some different things, but this is one of the brand new reports from Northwest MLS that you can see. Local market for King County. So the average sales price right now is down from what, 116 to 1,026,000. So it's just down 8.1. Year to date is down 5.1. So it has come up, pricing has come off a little. Not much. If you're in the more affordable price range, it is increasing. Lennox's reports that came out in the beginning of the month, does anybody know what the current 30-day absorption is for, from pendings? You guys know? It's 60 to 65% is the range, is going pending in the first 30 days. So we're in a surge / frenzy market. Sellers market. Here are King County resale only. Right now, there's a total of 1488 active listings as of yesterday. I just pulled this on yesterday. You have these in your handouts. That's a increase of 129.28%. Last year at the exact same time, there was 649. If you guys remember, last year in the end of March is when the market changed. So it's basically, we'll start seeing a difference in those numbers as soon as we're kind of past this month. So it'll be interesting to see where we're at on the daily pendings, because we've been off ever since then. So it's been a year.
But it looks like there were more new listings last year.
Yes,
Yes.
No,
yes.
total actives, 1488, total actives 2022 February,
New
649.
the first-
Oh, new listings, yes. New listings, yeah, last year there were more listings, yes. Good point. Pendings are barely, off 22.99%. And closed deals was 1,111, and that's off 10.55%. So it's getting closer to that, right where the market changed last year. If you remember last month's reports, it was quite a bit difference gap. I think it was like more in the 40% range. So that's a negative, 10.55%. Median sales price for the month was 800,000, and that was off 6.73%. But we're looking at a 1.34 month supply. Condos, that is new listings for February was 462. New listings last year was 728. So yes, there's less new listings coming on. Why are less listings coming on right now?
A lot of people don't want to move and give up their interest rates.
Yeah. I don't want to move. I got a 3% rate or 2.75. I'm not moving. I can't afford, I wouldn't be able to afford it. It'd be way different. So a lot of people are kind of like stuck. So what do you think you could talk to those people about that might help them be able to play in this market? What could you do? Move out of state? What? What could you say?
What about thought of renting it out? If it's a condo,
Oh, if you rent it out, maybe you're making more money.
buy a house.
Investment.
Then
buy-
that way you don't have to buy a contingent,
Right,
which you can't do.
yeah, so that's a good plan.
It's a condo.
Pendings were barely off, almost 30%. And close was 337, barely off, or actually that one's off a little bit more, 38.5%. Last year at the same time, there's 544. Median condo, King County's 468,500 compared to last year at 535. So they're off 12.43%, and they're at a 1.71 month supply for condos. Pierce County. Median sales price in Pierce is 527,000. This year, last year, it was 533, so it's barely off. For single family residential, year to date, it's 530 last year, and this year it's 525. So it's not much of a difference at all for the pricing. All of Pierce County of new listings is 816. Last year was 1247. Total listings active is 921. And last year of total active listings in the same month was 122, 46% difference. Pendings is 1,063. And that's off 17.79%. And closed deals at 690. It's not off by much, 11%. Price at the same month was 529,900, and it's barely off 535, and that's at a 1.33 month supply. So Pierce County is a little bit lower. Condos for Pierce County, all of Pierce County new listings in February 2023 was 64. Last year, sometime was 102. Total listings active 92. That's 148.65% increase. Pending sales off 40.57% in condos. There's just less condos too, so. That's probably why 48 total for close in the month, that's off 36%. Price is off just 11% at 355,300, and that's at a 1.92 month supply, so almost 2 months. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mr. Aaron Hafner for the Mortgage Minute.
Who's that?
You're up.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you.
Look away.
Look away. Well, good morning. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Thank you, Eric, so far for great information. So Leah,
Oh,
me,
hey.
and here's Leah over there.
Picture on there.
It's a good looking photo. Okay, so let me just talk today about the 10-year treasury. This is kind of like the barometer that we look at to get a feel for what interest rates are. And so today it's this is last night, but 3.83. And typically what you do is you add the 3 points to that to kind of get a feel for what the mortgage rates are, okay? And so you can tell, see this big drop, boom, came down. That's all because of the SVB, you know, the banks, the run on the bank, all that stuff caused a spook in the market, which caused interest rates to drop. So you went from basically almost 4% at the beginning, you know, like 2 weeks or about a week and a half ago, and it dropped down to the low part, and now it's back up to 3.483. And I think it's slightly higher today. It's like 3.5 something today. But that's where you see the trend over from the past year. So last August, it was down here, it worked its way up. Beginning of the year, back down, it got over to 4%, worked its way kind of up and down. And so the reason why you see all this choppiness is because everyone's thinking, hey, we're going to get past the recession, or not recession, but the inflation piece, right? Hey, we're getting there, and it's been sticky. And so, and especially when we have uncertainty in the market and what the Fed's going to do and everything else, this is what's causing the volatility up and down, especially these big swings. So you'll see interest rates come down a bit, but I don't think you're going to see them drop as much as you would think it would be, because it depends on how this whole uncertainty with the banking system or with the run of the bank. If the Fed's behind it and they can calm it down a little bit, then you won't see the aggressive panic. When people buy bonds or buy these treasuries, it forces interest rates to go down. When people panic in the stock market, they come here. And that's when more demand for a bond will make interest rates to go down. So if it's a kind of a shorter blip, then you may not see interest rates drop as much because lenders know that this is only going to be short term. We saw the same thing at the beginning of the pandemic. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we saw rates, hey, this really dropped. But rates didn't stay the same for a while. They didn't really drop as you would think. Then eventually, once the trend came through, rates came back down. So that's why tomorrow's kind of a big day, because tomorrow the Fed's going to talk. And so we got to figure out which way the Fed's going to go. They're going to still keep hitting the hammer and keeping interest rates higher, or they're going to keep them lower and maybe just barely raise it or stop raising it. Because what's happening in the banking system right now, the higher the interest rates, make it harder for banks to, to liquidate, to pay the deposits for people taking them out. It's kind of a catch-22. So that's kind of where we are today. We'll see this year. So then here's just a quick snapshot of the rates. So we're around 6.67, 6.7, something like that. And prior year was 4.46. So we're up 2.21%. So you'll see as we go further down this year, the change in rates won't be as drastic.
Yeah.
So a lot of these 3.5, 3.75 rates are going away. So then I just want to show you. So then here's the next thing. So this is betting on the champ. So this is in your packet. It's the one with the, looks like this. But basically I thought this is pretty cool because it talks about the change in home values. And basically if you invest in real estate, you're 73, 7-1 since 1941. That's a pretty good bet, right? And so basically what I've highlighted, you'll see in the packet, you'll see the 0. So this is the 1 year that it did not really appreciate, 1955. But then we saw a little bit of a drop in 1990. And of course, in 2007, 2008, you saw the bigger drop. Cause that's when we were doing all these no income, no asset loans and everything else, right? So that's when that went down. But then you can see the appreciation. So there's a couple times that in the year. So if you look in 1946, you're up 24%. But then it came down a little bit, but it still went up. It didn't go down. And so I guess that's my point on this. So you can see we came down 6%, 6%, and finally in 2021, we went through 10 to 19%. And last year we're up 6%. But in every one of these situations, it's done that, it has still gone up the following couple of years. So when your clients are like, hey, I think I want to wait, rates come down or whatever, you're 73, 7 and 1, right? Buying real estate, and you think it's gonna go down, right? So you may not get the crazy 19% appreciation, but you're gonna at least get 3 or 4 or 5%, which you're better off. So I thought that was a pretty good stat, explaining that when people look at it going, should I wait or not wait? You're better off buying because you're 73, 7 and 1, so. Any questions on that? Yeah, I think
Don't switch it out.
73 times the values have gone up.
Yeah, I don't,
7 times
yeah.
they've come down and once they've stayed the same.
Right,
Okay.
and it went down 40.
Right? I'm like, what?
Thank you.
So much
We're
analytics
putting
here.
out, yeah, our betting booth will be open in the back. But that's it. So out of the 73, out of those years, yeah, 81 years, you see where it's gone. So again, the only down, again, the 2008, that whole recession thing was completely different. The economics are completely different now than they were before. So you're better off. You are. That's how we build wealth, right? So, what's that? Yeah. Just national. Yeah. I'm sure ours would be a lot different. I mean, kind of South Coast around here. So then the question becomes, hey, if now's the time to buy, why should it be the time to buy? Because yeah, interest rates are higher. So in 1980, so here's the 10-year treasury. In 1981, it was 15.82%, right? Then literally a year later, almost, yeah, the year and a month later, it went down to 10.31. And then 3 years later, in 1986, it went to 7.22. So if you buy up at the top, you're still getting appreciation as the rates come down, we refinance out of you into another loan, right? It's not, instead of just getting that one rate of 3% and then going with it, you got to do a little bit of work, but we'll help you. That's what we do. We put them in our database and we call them. Hey, guess what? The rates came down today. Let's refinance. And so when rates come down, more demand goes up, right? Because more people can qualify for the loan. So the home values go up. So if you get here, you refinance a year or two later, you've got equity in your house. And that's what our parents did, right? You buy it and you work your way down. And interest rates come down, you save money, you get equity in the house, and the home values go up. And you can see once the Fed got everything kind of dialed in, you go from, really low rates from like 2000 all the way until about now, you know what I mean? So I think once the Fed controls or gets the inflation piece under a check, we will go back down to more historical norms of rates. So maybe at 4.5. So if you get in 7, we'll refinance you all the way down. So combine that with this.
Yeah.
It's a good time. We all know that. This is what we do and this is how we consult our clients. So then we, as a loan person, right? So as a mortgage professional, right? We have to be the affordability creator, right? That's what we have to do in this market. Like you talked about easier, 3 years ago, last couple of years, it's super easy to be a realtor. You pick up the phone, someone wants to buy and sell. Same thing with a lender. Hey, you want 2.75? Sure. But now it's changed. We have to use all our wisdom and experience to put it together, be the affordability creator. Lee and I have over 25 years of experience in doing this, okay? This is not my first rodeo. It was easy the last couple of years, but now we really have to go back to what we were doing before and what made us really successful. So first part, affordability creator, there'd be changes to FHA loans, right? That's in your packet too. We have income-based loans with reduced mortgage insurance. If you make less than $99,680, okay? Home Ready and Home Possible are these programs. Depending on the house is located at, you might be able to get a lower rate and lower MI. There's changes to loan level pricing adjustments that we talked about last time, that hot map with the collars on it. If you have lower credit scores and your down payment is, if you have lower credit scores and your down payment is not as impactful to the rate as it was before. So in other words, if you have a lower credit score and lower down payment, the rate won't be as, you won't get a hit on the rate as much as it used to be, okay? And then we have our down payment assistance programs through the state, right? Depending on, we're good at that stuff, Lee is really good at that. in terms of understanding which incomes need to work and how to get that lower rate for you. But that's the idea. We gotta create affordability in the higher interest rate market.
So on the next to last bullet point, are you saying not as impactful on the interest rate or on the PMI?
Interest rate, sorry.
Because your example shows the PMI, not.
Oh, you're on the next sheet though. I'm not there just yet.
Stay with it. Stay with it.
But I like your intro, that's great, okay. So that's what I want to talk about. So the biggest one today, we'll just talk about quickly the FHA changes, okay? And so FHA right now, the way that it works, they charge you an upfront fee upfront for doing an FHA loan of 1.75% of the loan amount, okay? So if you do a mortgage, if you do an FHA loan, they're gonna charge you 1.75 of your principal balance of the loan and then add that to the principal balance. So it's add on. Then they charge you 0.85 per month, okay? So the monthly mortgage insurance will never go away. It stays on for life. Idea is we get in an FHA loan, either fix the credit, do what we need to, refinance the conventional and get rid of the mortgage insurance if you can. Now what's happening is that FHA is changing it. So that 1.75 stays up front, but your monthly mortgage insurance will go to 0.55. Okay, so if you look on your spreadsheet on the sheet, the next sheet, I think I do have the example, right? Yep. I know you guys love numbers. But this is pretty simple, okay? So your purchase price is $550, you do 3.5% down, your down payment's $19,250, and then they charge you an upfront mortgage insurance. They're gonna charge you $9,200, but that $9,200 gets added to the loan balance. This is how your payment is derived, right? The loan balance. Interest rates are the same, 6.375, but the monthly mortgage insurance went from 0.85, it would have been 375. If you did that, so 0.85 would have been 375 for the monthly mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. Now they've changed it, so now it goes to 0.55. And you save about $123 a month just off the bat, okay? So that's a good thing. So they've really changed this. Now, what they're working on hopefully is the life of the loan piece, where maybe the mortgage insurance doesn't stick on for the life of the loan. Eventually it might fall off. But I've had clients of mine who've had it for a couple of years. Hey, home value has gone up, their credit score has gone up, or whatever it is, and then we just refinance out of it into a conventional loan, which may not have mortgage insurance, and the mortgage insurance will be much cheaper, okay? But this is just this is an easy win. So before FHA loans had a higher price, you just save them $123 a month, just off that, okay? So that helps offset some of the higher interest rate. Any questions? Yes,
I
ma'am.
just have a quick question. Did they always used to do that where they put added to the loan amount? Or is that a new
Yep.
thing?
Always. Yep.
Okay, it just seems like they're dropping the price there, but adding it.
Well, this has always been here. No, the thing is, you do FHA loans because you have to, right? Because of the credit score, or other issues that do it. If you can do conventional doesn't have this upfront mortgage insurance. This is just strictly for FHA.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is off, this is big, but I had a lender tell me maybe a month ago that, King and Sonoma were now, considered or classified as declining markets, and now for a jumbo loan, 25% down, is that what you understand, or?
No, we have many different lenders. So we can pick and choose different jumbo lenders that we can use. Each one has their own difference.
Okay, so it's not across the board.
Correct. If you're a bank, that's all you have, right? We have plenty of different ways to shop it around and find the best rate return.
What is the price for jumbo, like, goes into jumbo? I'm just curious. like-
Anybody else now? I thought I talked about this before. No? Okay. 977,
Okay,
300, I think is what it
Okay.
is. So anything above that's considered jumbo.
okay.
So we got that. And then the frenzy market winning strategies, right? This is what we're good at. Obviously finding home affordability, but also you have to work with your lender, right? You're gonna have to be more of a team and everything else. I'm sure you might have other connections that you have with, but give us a shot. We've been doing it a long time. We're really good at what we do and really keeping everyone to communicate and put these offers together because we can really make it a good structure to make it work. As with Amanda that we just did, right? How many people were, how many?
There were
offers?
12 offers.
Yeah. So what was the strategy that we did that worked?
Well, we upped the down payment a little bit, but I talked to the listing agent, was like, hey, we're flexible, my client's totally pre-underwritten, so we're ready to
That's the
go.
key. So the idea is 2 weeks before they came in, we met them. Talked to them, gave me their stuff the next day. Did the verification of employment, had them fill out a form, and within 4 to 5 days after that, we had it fully underwritten. So that means the whole thing in this market is all about the CIA, right? It's all about getting that CIA. So it's credit, income, and assets. If we can get this all verified, we can get you fully approved. That's the idea. Credit's easy. We can figure that out right away. The assets, you either have it or you don't. That's pretty simplified. But then the income is the bigger one, right? So we have to dial in. And it's easy if you make salary or if you have an hourly employee and they get, 40 hours. But if you're self-employed, a couple different jobs and everything else, this is the one we really got to work on. And this is the one that once we get this piece dialed in, fully approved, we can close really fast, project certainty to the seller that we can close. And so that's what we have. So, you've got your buy before yourself, you got a couple different scenarios and everything else all here. And I think that's in your packet too. Then we have the pre-approval payout promise. So if we have you fully underwritten and you can't close because of credit, income and assets, we will pay the seller $5,000 on that. So if you're making your offer and you're saying, hey, look, it's fully approved, but if we don't close because of credit, income and asset, we'll pay you $5,000, the seller. We've never had to pay this out. We're not going to pay it out because we have it fully approved. Okay?
We not put in a finance contingency at that point?
You can. It's up to you what your client really wants to, if we're back in that market again and we have it fully approved, yeah, my recommendation is we can do that, but it's obviously, this doesn't impact low appraisal or anything else. This is just credit, income and asset. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say something else on that. All right, yeah, but that's kind of what we do. We just put up there, like my dad says, belt and suspenders. You got a belt, you put the suspenders on. How you make it work. So here's our offer submission strategy that we typically do. We ask you to copy us on the email when you submit the offer. So you submit the offer, you copy me on it, we'll respond right away to the email, hiding the strengths and the borrower's qualifications and how they've going through the advanced approval process, right? I call them up. Hey, look, I just want to make sure the letter that you're looking at, it's approved. We're good. And we hit all the things, the bells and whistles they want to hear. We're completely local, 100%, or 100% local, processing, underwriting, all that good stuff. Use local appraisers. We're not using, these other things. So then we follow up a phone call to answer any questions and the listing agent may have on the buyer's qualifications. Okay. There's a lot of different things to do it. It's not one bullet, but we do all these little things to make it really, to make it look good. And then, this is just an example of the letter that I send out, that kind of thing. And then we have a refi 5. So if you refinance the loan, the next 5 years, we'll pay your closing costs up front. So if we're going down that path, hey, look, easy to refinance. You close with us, we'll pay for your closing costs on the refi.
All the closing costs are just the lender fees.
It's all the, our costs, not the escrow fees, but our costs for putting the loan together. So that's your appraisal, processing, underwriting, yeah. Only a couple grand, which is fine. That's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah, we'll do that, yeah. So that's the deal. So, and then that's the detail. But anyhow, yeah. Here we go.
All right.
So if you have any questions, let us know. Leah is awesome. She's in the corner with me. In the
You
corner.
guys are always here?
Yes, call us on the weekends. That's what we do. We live and read this stuff. That's what we do. We're not just here part-time.
How much down payment assistance can someone get?
What's that?
How much down payment assistance can somebody get?
Leah?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on the income, but you can get 3%, sometimes 5, but typically they're capping it around 4% payment assistance.
4% of say, but
The loan amount.
So if you do, this is 3% off the loan amount and they'll loan you 4%. So in other words, the home's 100%, right? The loan's gonna be 97% of the purchase price, right? The state will loan you 4%. So basically to cover your down payment plus a little bit of extra for the closing costs.
And
That's
then
kind of-
there's other programs too, if you have income, that you can get a lower
It's
interest
good.
rate than like market right now. 6% of the point item. And they'll give you a $15,000 second grant.
So I can add down payment to whatever I have down right now, and maybe get it to eliminate PMI.
Yeah, and you can use them as the first mortgage and not take the down payment assistance if that's beneficial for the interest rate and we have income that's a little lower.
Have you know the DTAs about how long does stuff last, like, for the resale at the?
Yeah, so it sits as a second. So if they ever sell or refinance, they have to pay back to the state typically. There's some programs where there's like grants, but the income for that is pretty low.
So if I meant to say the word give,
No, there's no prepayment, you can pay it whenever, and typically what we do is, get them into the house. They pay down their equity, and then you just refinance and roll it all together into one mortgage later on. So it's a great strategy for people that just don't have quite enough money, that they have the income to
Yeah.
qualify for them.
especially if you can use those lower income ones, right? Or not the lower income ones, but there's certain ones that if you just do your standard down payment assistance,
Mhm.
it's kind of pricey right now. They're like, what was it, set almost 8%?
It was almost 8%.
Yeah.
Higher down payment
Yeah,
assistance.
great.
The income limit for that is like 165,000 or something. So, you can swing all the way up to an 8% interest rate, but if you have lower income, then it's sitting around like 6%.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the affordability piece that we do. This is not just look at the loan and we just come out with something. We really work with your client to figure out the best options and terms. So they can figure out the best scenario for them, so they feel comfortable, then they want to buy, right? So that's the deal.
Yeah.
All right, one last question. I got a question for you guys. And no, it's not about the other one. So anyhow, this is for the Oscars, right? Which movie first won the Oscar for best animated film?
Roger
What-
Rabbit.
Avatar.
Those are goods.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it was in 2001.
Dumbo?
Shrek?
Yes, got it. I know I'm on the same page. It's good.
Prison Pride.
Thank you. Yes, questions. We're over here and we're around on the phone and all that good stuff too.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. All right, March calendar. So we had to move Waffle Wednesday. That's gonna be tomorrow morning. So please come in for a Waffle Wednesday. Girls are making breakfast. That'll from 9:30 to 10:30, and then we're doing forms class right after. We're doing 22B. So anybody's got the contingent offers, I've had a lot of questions on that in the past couple months. So that's the next forms in our forms class. We did it last month. Sure. Tomorrow, Market Ready Plus, the brand new system, they do have a class. It is tomorrow from 12 to 1. You can visit my desk and register. So that's tomorrow. The new system, it is good. It's a little bit clunky if you just don't know how to use it. And it takes a little bit to understand it. It's definitely a lot more involved than it was before. But it's getting there, and they've got some new pieces that'll be for clients and for the contractors that's coming out. They're just finalizing the proofs now. Did you guys get everything? All good?
I'm gonna find, I was gonna ask you more about that, we should find out data, but yeah, we got approved for all of them.
Oh, sweet. All right, so if it was approved before Tuesday at noon, this I think is what it says, then it gets paid out on Fridays.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right, upcoming events, axe throwing. They have an axe murder the market with the YPN group. This will be fun. This is on Thursday evening in Capitol Hill. If anybody wants to go, $20. Want to throw axes?
Flannels and courage.
Yeah, flannels and courage.
They have to register.
You have to register, so go ahead, take a photo and scan.
I don't know, real estate agents with axes, that's weird.
No flannel, you don't have to flannel. That'll be fun. Other thing, this is a really good event. This is a local one in person. Kendra Cook from the Core is gonna be in, where is it? It's in Federal Way. Yes, Monday, April 3rd from 10 to noon. We're gonna be hitting this thing up. It's $50. Go ahead, take your phone out, scan that. But if you want to learn how to, the Core does their actual systems for doing relationship database and time management. These are really, really, really structured. So if you need a kick in the butt, this would be the way to go. Definitely. Oh, yeah. And she's straight meat and potatoes. This is exactly what you do in person. She's teaching it. Yep. So anybody want to register, and we'll send out the info in email too. Legal update. Who went to the live legal lunch? You on Zoom? Yeah, there's like 100 some people on Zoom. So legislative and case law updates on seller financing and others.
That's crazy.
I know, this is gonna be a little bit of shock to some people if you haven't been paying attention, but Senate House Bill 1284, real estate agency is about to be updated. I heard that.
I couldn't believe what they're talking about to me.
All right, so who's used the buyer's agency agreement in the last few months? Wow, that's a lot more than we used to. Do you remember that when we did the class, when we first did that and there's like 2 people? Well, soon, starting next year, you have to have a buyer's agency agreement in order to do real estate with a buyer, period.
Good.
Mhm. So it's gonna be probably kicking off at the beginning of the year. This is gonna require a written service agreement. It requires disclosure of compensation and terms. Provides that certain duties of real estate brokers apply to all parties, and this is gonna modify the Washington State Real Estate Brokerage pamphlet. So the agency law pamphlet is going to be updated to basically accommodate for this new law. So there's a lot of questions in the class. People are like, wait a minute, so how? So, because the whole thing is if you're providing real estate duties at all, you have to have an agreement. What's probably the typical fastest, easy one that you guys are all doing right now? Open houses, you're showing property, right?
Right.
You get a sign call. Hey, yeah, I see your listing here. I want to show it.
Yeah.
How are you gonna handle that?
Can't show it unless you have a written agreement, get that law.
One day,
No.
one address agreement.
So what she said is that it has to be in a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
What is a reasonable amount of time? A subject, yeah, it's like, so there's some things we're gonna be learning about, but I want you guys to know about this to be ready. Because it's going to pass. This is the stuff that they were trying to do to put more transparency in our industry. Rob?
Are buyers gonna ask if they can sign more than one buyer and broker agreement?
I don't know.
20 different realtors?
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be very interesting. I don't know how Redfin's gonna do it, because they have an app and they schedule on the app just to go see it. So I don't know if they're gonna have a pop-up disclosure and say, click here, here, and here, and now you're in an agreement. It's gonna be really interesting. So stay tuned, but this is the kind of stuff we gotta keep up on. So we're leaders in the industry.
Just see when the buyers break the agreement.
The next thing that's being updated is Senate House Bill 1070, and this is a good one. This is exempting the residential sale leasebacks from the Landlord Tenant Law Act. So you know, when you're selling a home to your buyer and the seller's like, oh, I need to stay in the home for like 2 months. Do you know that basically was Tenant Landlord Act, you know, that's a lease, and Tenant Landlord Act follows all of that. Well, these short-term types of agreements are going to not fall under that category, which is good. So that is gonna get squashed. The max is the rental agreement for no more than 3 months, so it's gonna be that 90-day. You know, that, which is good because a lot of the loans, right, for buyers, right, they have to occupy within 90 days. So that'll be good. No rent payments from seller after the 3 months from closing, and of course, not a distressed home at the time of closing. And then seller represented by an attorney or real estate broker. As long as all of those, you know, things are in play, then it's not gonna fall under the Landlord Tenant Law Act. Real estate news. Northwest MLS today just updated this, so any listings entered after today, they're automatically gonna be set to allow overlapping showing appointments. If you do not like that, you are going to have to be ready to go in showing time and override that. Once you do that, you can set it to be your default, but this is one to be aware of. I mean, this is how it used to be before 2020. I mean, that's kind of how it was.
Really?
Yeah.
They just changed it for COVID?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's,
They did.
they did.
Yeah.
But if you don't like that, you want to make sure that it's, you know, people cannot overlap and stuff, then you're gonna have to get in there and set it.
It might have been like that.
So it's in the listings and showing time, so that's where the settings are.
We won't have any key box
What was that?
We won't have any key box data if you allow that potentially.
No, it's a register every time.
They still need to log
They
in.
have to log in. Yeah, well,
Even if somebody's.
Yeah.
supposed to. John Scott Video. Rowan will be here next week. It's gonna be Tuesday and Thursday, Tuesday through Thursday. He'll be here every day. He's got a few people already lined up. So if you want professional videos done, they have that $500 video package. So that's 5 videos. That's basically $99 a professional video. And he does incredible work. How many of you guys have got professional videos from Rowan now? Yeah, oh yeah, Shamus the ones came out. Great, man. Have you listed those? Are you put those out yet?
We're working on it.
You're working on it now? You gonna boost those?
Yes.
Those are really.
Does he help you with the scripts and stuff, or you already?
He helped you with the scripts. He has a,
We get AI on a couple of those.
yeah, yeah, you can chat GPT on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he uses a teleprompter. You literally can read and it goes, is slow, you know, that you need to read. And the camera's behind the teleprompter, so you're not doing this thing, you know, reading back and forth. He does really good work, but anyways, email video@johnlscott.com and he can set that up for you. You don't have to pay up front either. He'll get it on your agent billing. Makes it really easy. Company news highlights. John L. Scott ranked number 15 in the nation by sales volume. This is company-owned John L. Scott's only. That is huge. That's the highest we've ever been in the list. That's out of 500 companies. 500 in the nation. That's pretty good.
That's because John L. Scott bought into, rented the kid or the.
A lot of it
They
comes
were
from
always
us.
number 1 and 5, right? They're always number 1 here and 5 there.
John L. Scott JLS featured tool. So they just did an update into the John L. Scott Institute. It has a brand new look. It's completely set up and different. I was gonna play the video, but really no need to. It basically click in there now. You can edit your profile, but there's a lot more classes and it's way better organized. But there's 24/7 learning in there, and there's a whole bunch more classes from leading RE and luxury and luxury portfolio. So if you want to take some extra classes, remember what we've been talking about, more education, up in your skills, that is a must in this business. Some of our trusted partners, Title and Escrow Reimagined, they've got new updates to Access Home Closing now in the actual chat and for text SMS. So immediately you're getting updates now on what's going on in your deal. It's pretty sweet. I just closed a deal with Access just right at the end of beginning of the month. I thought there was gonna be a problem. My client, he's taking care of his ailing dad and he had power of attorney and he was gonna be taking a trip to Japan. So I call him, I'm like, hey, Escrow's been trying to get a hold of you. He goes, oh, what time is it? And I'm like, what time is it? Like, where are you? He's like, I'm in Japan right now. I'm like, wait a minute, you said your trip was like this date to this date. He goes, oh no, I gave you the wrong dates. I'm in Japan now. Is that a problem? And he's got to sign and close tomorrow. Closing was the next day. And I was like,
Is that-
yeah, that's a problem. I'm freaking out because this is an all cash deal closing in 5 days. So I'm like, let me make a call. So I call and they're like, oh, where is he? He's in Japan. Oh, we have signers in Japan. That's not a problem. Like, what?
Wow.
Here, she sent me a thing in the messaging SMS, forward this to him. He's gonna get a secure link and where to meet for his signing. I was like, what? So I was blown away that they did that and we closed on time. And then they actually had a hiccup. The closer basically gave instructions to pay the utilities also on this one, my same deal. And the utilities was like almost $3,000 because they basically, the tenant was squatting and they weren't paying anything. And it was one of those types of deals. And they finally got out because the power and everything was turned off. Nothing was being paid for months. So anyways, Escrow was like, here you go. Here's the final billing, gave instructions to overnight it to City of Tacoma. And the person did not get the instructions right and they snail mailed it. So then the next day, the buyer was like, hey, I've got 8 contractors showing up by the morning. They're gonna be here by the morning and I have to pay them, regardless. So what's going on? We can't get the power. And so then they were like, oh no, what they did is they immediately did a stop payment and they had someone else cut in another check from Bellevue and drove it down and paid it and they got them all turned on. I was like, wow, okay. I've had some really good experiences, so I'm very, very impressed. Bookwithchase.com, if you want to get an appointment with Chase, he's really good at setting up those access home tools for finding deals. Someone I know is working on their next mailers. I won't say their name because they don't want the secret out of the hat, but they've already got 4 deals lined up from just that last appointment.
What is this for?
Farming. And with that, we're almost done. Jim?
Can we just back up and go over something?
Sure.
So I think you guys realize or getting a sense that where we are in the market, we're kind of bouncing off the bottom. Okay, we're still kind of in this market, but we're seeing some successes, great traffic at open houses, multiple offers, starting to see some price escalation. So I think we were bouncing off the bottom. Really what that signifies is we're entering the next cycle of real estate. Okay, we came through this big cycle of real estate. We kind of hit this trough. And what's happening right now, we're starting to bounce into the next cycle of real estate. So the analogy, you know, that you read about, you hear about is, you know, just look at yesterday's market, it could be construed or likened us playing checkers. Now we're playing chess. It requires strategy. So we have to lean into more strategies for our business right now. Pull out your 32 helpful hints if you don't mind just for a moment. Not to go to 32 of them, but I've circled something as we're talking. So if you don't mind, because you guys got to key into this. If you want to win more often, and we have to get out ahead of the game. Most of us are not utilized, are not comfortable, or it's not a habit to utilize extra strategies. We just kind of do what we've always done, and hopefully that works out. Well, there's a lot more that we can be doing, and we have to use this list here, these 33 strategies. It's kind of like a checklist. So you have this checklist wherever you have, whenever you write a deal, you need to pull this thing out and say, how many of these strategies can I employ to get a competitive advantage and win more often on the deal? So I just circled some as we were talking, and I was kind of going through it. Go to number 7. And number 7 is kind of, it says, you'll see it on the home your buyers want to purchase. I don't know how many people do that, but what we want to show is really reflect what today's market is. So when your CMA is going to reflect how much above full price some of these homes are going for. For instance, you know, yours is 400 over, this went over 100, whatever. So when we're talking to buyers in our buyer conference, we want to give them perspective of what's going on in the market. There's no easier way to say, oh, the last 3 homes that sold in this price range in this area all went for 10% more, 20% more, whatever. And we can't tell people stuff. You have to show them. Okay, telling people, they just like, they're so inundated with data and decisions, and they're so emotional, whatever. We have to start showing people in our presentations. So we have to prepare a little bit better to prepare our buyers to function in this market. Don't wait for the market to be so crazy to play catch up. We need to get out ahead of the game. Let's go to number 12. It doesn't need much explanation, but question is, should I be including an escalation clause with every offer that I present? Because I really don't know how many other offers are coming in. The listing broker on the other side is not necessarily going to share all the information that I need to know. So am I putting my best foot forward? Is there any downside to putting an escalation clause or including an escalation clause with your offer? You might have a personal opinion about it, that's okay. You might want to think about that. Number 13, don't lose a deal over a few $1,000s. Remember, we get keyed in, buyers get keyed into sales price, et cetera, but really it's how much more in payment it's going to cost me. So the example here said it will only cost you about between $4 and $5 a month with a 30-year loan. That's not true anymore. Rates are up. So at a 6% interest rate, how much per 1,000? If I pay an extra 1,000, how much does that change my monthly payment at a 6% interest rate? $6. $6. Okay. So if I up my offer by $10,000, how much more is my monthly payment? $60. Okay, so people stress over $10,000 or even $20,000. You know, that they'll probably lose the offer over, but they're really losing it over $60 to $100. And they would, if they knew that it was presented to them, they probably would be more amenable to upping the price or offering more or going above full price, you know, by $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever it is. So we have to make sure that we understand how to put them, how to give them perspective on it. Go to number 14. This is something that not enough of us would do. Maybe want to consider it. Purchase a home warranty for the seller, not the buyer. Okay, so if I purchase a home warranty for the seller, it says give the seller reassurance that when he chooses your offer, his or her home will be covered by you during the escrow period, if any unexpected repairs come up. Okay, it's just another layer of service of care to the seller to help maybe tip the scales in your favor, in your offer's favor, by you willing to cover their home on home warranty from the moment he signs your deal. Guess what? You have to sign your deal, you don't have to buy a home warranty. Okay, we would all gladly buy a home warranty for somebody if we were assured that the home was gonna get, our deal was gonna get accepted, okay?
Excuse me, Jim,
Yes.
on that one, doesn't the office already include that?
That's part of the
Listing.
That's why listings are automatically covered, but let's say.
That's for a buyer.
We're taking it off to your house.
Higher,
And
okay,
you're
when I
listed with-
heard seller, I
For
was
that
thinking.
seller.
Yeah, so first it for the seller, not for the buyer.
No,
Okay?
no, no.
Number 15, let the seller know you'll take no,
Oh, okay.
let the seller know you'll take no additional commission paid on the escalation amount. Oftentimes sellers, if I'm escalating 100,000 over, okay, you didn't do any more work, Mr. Listing Agent, but I've got to pay you now, 3% on another $100,000, $3,000. So let the seller know that you're not gonna take any additional commission on the escalated amount. It's usually a few $100 to maybe $1,000, but that means getting your offer, right?
The point of it, yeah.
It's the point of it, yes, it's the gesture, right? So you're helping ease the seller into choosing your offer. Now, the next one, on an inspection, on a septic inspection, who typically pays for the septic inspection? Seller. What would happen if your buyer offered to pay for the septic inspection instead of the seller? Okay, would that make it more convenient? Would it be just a few more $100 just to get the offer accepted? Or maybe just, well, whatever it is. Okay, so it's $1,000, but you know what, if he signs my offer, I'm willing to do it. You see, I mean, it's kind of tipping the scale, that's what this thing is all about. Number 22, include a pre-authorization allowing the lender to release financial information and updates directly to the listing broker and the seller. Listing brokers love to be in control, right? And so, give them authorization up front to talk to your lender and have your lender, authorize your lender to release information on your loan. 26, 27, as is, a buyer will clean and trash out the property and dispose of anything. So what I'm doing is just little things that help make your offer a little bit more appealing to the listing broker and the particular seller. And then we have a new number 33 I just added on today. That's really why I'm doing this. Okay, so in the event your underwritten deal through priority doesn't close, the seller gets how much? $5,000. So put a $5,000 guarantee on your fully underwritten loan with priority. So add that as number 33. So like I said before, it's kind of playing chess more so than checkers. We have to have a strategy and we can tip the scales a little bit, we're gonna win more often. And with inventory so low, I don't want to lose the deal, then I gotta start all over and hope and pray that there's a listing out there. I'm gonna, find and I'll be the only one that knows about it, or I'm gonna be in a multiple offer scenario again. So make sure you guys are utilizing the tool, don't just take shit for granted.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. Get the competitive edge on your competition and we'll stand out, you're gonna win more often. The other thing I just want to bring up is today's first day of spring, right?
Yesterday was, yeah,
Is today?
it was yesterday,
Okay, well, today's first day for you.
2:24 p.m.
So the thing is, a lot of us, it's the end of the first quarter, a lot of us are kind of lagging a little bit. The whole industry's lagging, a lot of us are lagging, a few people are killing it out there. But I gotta really look at my first quarter, look at the trajectory I'm on based on my activities and what I'm accomplishing and what I'm doing on a daily basis and the choices I'm making on a daily basis. I gotta up my game, okay? So I have to ask myself, what's the quickest way to a deal right now? What's the quickest way to a deal right now? What they wanna move. Okay, so what I learned today is we've got 40-something people at this open house, we got 87 people at that open house or whatever. Where are the buyers today? Where's the activity? Where's the attention being played? It's out in the field, guys. We have to get more active in the open house and in the field. And I understand there's not a lot of listings to do open houses, but guess what? How many open houses should you be doing, or when's the best time to do an open house? Like freaking today, why not? If you have 47 people coming through an open house, you don't think they're searching every day? Right? You don't think you're gonna drive by if an open house is posted? You don't think you're gonna meet 6 people this afternoon if you put up 5 or 6 day boards on a new listing? Okay, so Friday open houses, Twilight open houses, days are longer, let's be a little more strategic to get that first mover advantage on a new listing. So you had 43 on Saturday, but you also had 15 on Sunday. I'll take any one of them. I'll take 15 over 43, actually,
Yeah.
because there's too many people. So you know what? The second day is also a good day for open houses, right? And evenings, later afternoon, 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon, with a bunch of A-boards, people are out in the street. So the quickest way for me to meet a buyer, seller, a neighbor, add somebody to my database, nurture a contact, whatever, can happen anytime, any day. So today is the day to do it. How many? Okay, so Andrew got an open house client a while back,
Well, 3.5, 4 years.
about 3.5, 4 years ago, but he's putting together his fifth deal. Okay, with this one client from an open house. Are you putting it right around now?
Yeah,
He's
we
doing it.
That's like an annuity, isn't it?
So it's like. Came to an open house 3 years ago, has now given him 5 transactions. Pretty damn good. So long-term value of client, long-term value of your contact, long-term value of doing this activity is not just get in the game today, that's for long term.
Andrew's also done a really good job at keeping in contact with them. though. That's the
That's what I
one key
told
thing.
Yeah.
You can't miss out on that
Put
story.
Together you got 2 offers accepted yesterday. So, there you go, man. You're killing it. So the activity's out there, don't lag and don't wait for something to happen. We're at the beginning of a new cycle. Take advantage of it. Let's play some bingo or something.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing certain that.
All right. Anything else for the good of the group? All right, that is it. Thank you guys so much for making it. Let's keep working hard. Bye, Zoom people.